Look at all these wonderful hapsters joining. And Larry.
Oh, ouch. Very.
Wonderful. I just see so many good names here. Hello, everybody. We're going to get going in a minute or two, let people start popping in, and then I'll throw the show over to our fearless chair for the conference. All right. Well, I see people popping in, and I know we all want to hear all the things as we get ready for 2024. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you might be watching this. I'm Melissa. I'm our co-chair for our Welcome Belonging Committee, who is helping to host this town hall, as well as president-elect. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time chatting in this town hall because we have our amazing chair for the 2024 conference here to lead us through what we will be encountering in 2.5 weeks. I think we're at this point. So I'm going to throw it over to Cinnamon, our 2024 conference chair. So Cinnamon, it's all yours.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Before I launch into sort of the what to expect in St. Louis / Edwardsville, Illinois, I also want to introduce very briefly Patrick Cafferty, who has a quick announcement. He is manning the book swap this year for the 2024 HAPS.
Hey, everybody. I'm Patrick Cafferty, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the book club. And this year we are hosting a book exchange. So that book exchange will take place on Saturday, May 25th, in conjunction with Tom's T-shirt swap and the welcoming trivia. All you got to do is bring a book, put it on the table, and you can take a book. And the books could be anything related to biology, A&P, teaching and learning, diversity, equity, inclusion. It could also be fiction, especially if it's related to one of those topics. But feel free to bring something, maybe you read on the plane, drop it on the table and grab something new to read on the way back.
Great. All right. Thank you, Patrick. I do have a brief little slideshow for you guys because I'm a very visual person. And so I like to be able to picture where we're going and what's going to look like. And some of you that were at HAPS 2023 will recognize a few of these slides. So I apologize for recycling, but none of us ever do recycle our PowerPoints for teaching. I know that. We create brand new ones every time. But anyway, this is a view of downtown St. Louis. You can see Busch Stadium, right, front and center, home of the Cardinals. And one thing that popped into my head that is sort of the first thing to expect this year is that. Yeah. Okay, guys, go ahead and please mute yourself if you don't mind, because I am easily distracted. Squirrel. So thank you so much. Is that this year on the weekend that we're there, it is the Cards Cubs triple header. And I can tell you, maybe others want to debate with me, but there is no stronger sort of rivalry in professional sports than the Cards versus the Cubs. So downtown will be very busy, but I think it won't be to the point where we feel oppressed. I think it will feel very exciting and lively. And so one of the places that I'll point out to you that you might want to consider going that is within a decent walking distance of the hotel is what's called Ballpark Village, and that's outside the ballpark. And there's tons of restaurants and bars and whatnot. So here that you've seen this before, excuse me, I'm sorry. You've seen this slide before as well. So this Gateway Arch, if you're going to do either the fun run or the fun walk, that will take you down near the arch. And I think they've renovated the whole area and it's really just beautiful. I really do encourage you all to go up in the arch if you get a little time. It's so cool. And then they've redone the museum underneath. The city museum, this, if you've got children that are accompanying you with a partner, this would be a fantastic place for you to take your family, or heck, if you're a big kid at heart, this is so much fun. And it's really close to the hotel as well. This is fairly new, the St. Louis Wheel. It's pretty fun to go up in. I think the whole ride is something like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, but it's actually really close to Union Station, which now there is an aquarium in Union Station as well. And that's probably a little bit far of a walk for you from the hotel. Depends on how sort of energetic you are. And again, you saw this slide last year, but one of the things that I think is really cool about St. Louis is the food scene. I didn't put barbecue on here because it's not unique to St. Louis, but we really do have some amazing barbecue. And there's a really good restaurant that will be in the app. I'm going to show you the maps that I put together for the app. Sugar Fire Smokehouse. It's a chain locally, so I'm not sure some of you may have it, but in St. Louis at the Panera or Bread Co., as you can see over here, we bread slice our bagels. You can't tell me there's not a better way because you have more surface area for cream cheese. We have toasted raviolis or toasted ravs or T-ravs, sometimes they're called. Honestly, I think you can get these just about anywhere. They're really good with marinara. And then this is probably one of the most famous frozen custard in St. Louis is Ted Drew's, but there are a lot of really good places for custard in this area. So SIUE, if you may recall, I'm going to move my little window because I am getting confused with it. Okay, SIUE is actually in Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. So this is approximately where our hotel is. I actually don't know what route the buses are going to take, but I discovered kind of accidentally that if you go up this Route 3, you can kind of come in the back way through SIUE, and it honestly is really about 25 minutes. But, you know, Caitlin and her team have put together, you'll see this bus schedule that is beautiful, like rivals Grand Central Station scheduling, I think, because it is like down to the minute. So that is one thing you will really need to pay attention to this year, is making 100% sure, you know, you're giving yourself plenty of time to get to campus, because this is one of the longer distances that we've had in the past. So, you know, last year, I think it was 10 minutes or something, but this is more like a 25 to 30-minute bus ride. But we have plenty of buses and they're going to be running. So you won't be stranded in Edwardsville for the whole day. So this is SIU Edwardsville. It is in the town in Edwardsville. And I've got another couple of slides to show you, but while I'm here, notice this little star up here in Alton, SDM, that's the School of Dental Medicine. I work for SIU Edwardsville, but I am housed at the School of Dental Medicine. So I just didn't want anybody to sort of look at my contact information and see School of Dental Medicine and think, oh yeah, I'm just going to hop right up 367 and go right there to Alton. Boom, I'll be there. This is not a large campus, so we wouldn't have enough room to host everyone. So just make sure you're going to Edwardsville, Illinois, if you decide to drive. I got to click back on my thing. Okay, so this is a map that'll be in the app. I'm not going to read off the whole thing because it'll be in the app, but these are, you know, some of the restaurants that came, you know, really highly recommended. that are within, I think, a 15-minute walk. So you can see 7 and 4 are kind of out here in the periphery. But I think it's not too terribly far. And then I just put, Caitlin, will they have access to this PowerPoint later?
Yeah, we can post it on the website along with the recording.
Okay, perfect. That way, because I put some visual, I put images of the restaurants in case you were kind of like wondering, is this the right place? Because like this one, I would not have guessed, you know, it was an actual restaurant. I would have thought, oh, I don't want to go in there. But here are some just images of the restaurants that are close by. And then I also put together a list of things that are fun to do near the hotel. So you can see here's the hotel and this light blue circle here. This is the 15-minute walking distance. So you can see City Museum is just outside that. And then I put some images of these. I think the National Blues Museum is literally, I think, practically right across the street from the hotel. Laclede's Landing, this is, if we go back to the map, you can see, I know, I thought I put it on here. Yeah, number 9. Oh, there it is. So this is more of a region in the downtown area, but there are a lot of fun things to do down there. Like there's like a dueling pianos bar and there's a bunch of restaurants. There's an old spaghetti factory, which I don't know, that's a chain. So I don't know how many of you have that. And then of course, here you can see this is where we are going to be. And then there's the Gateway Arch. Apparently this City Garden Sculpture Park, again, if you have kids with you, that is going to be a really fun place for them in May. They can climb on the sculptures. There's like a splash pad, wading pool there. Keener Park Plaza is very interesting. Sometimes they'll do like outdoor shows there. And then again, Ballpark Village and Busch Stadium. I put Stifle Theater on here. I didn't know if you might want to check, you know, what's happening, what music acts are coming to town during that time period, but that's a place for live music. And it's pretty easy to get in and out of there. And like I saw, my husband and I went to see Lyle Lovett there. So some good names. Oop, okay, and then there's the city park. Okay, and then this is my map again that shows, you know, we're like a 20-minute drive from the dental school when we're in Edwardsville. So I really, really was just very worried about that. So I put a couple of different slides in for you. Here's an aerial picture of the SIUE campus. Now, one of the things that's crazy about this campus, I don't know if I can really point out the full sort of like distance of the campus, but it is like something like 2,000 acres as far as the whole property. But thankfully, we're not spread out over those 2,000 acres. You know, most of where we're going to be is in a relatively small area. So when you come in, you'll be brought in on the bus, and this is what we call the hairpin drive. You'll be able to see it a little bit better in a map later on. And when you get off the bus, you'll kind of head off towards your left if you're going to get breakfast in the morning when it's the workshops. Hopefully that's apparent. Sorry, I just kind of jumped right in. But this is where you're going to get your meals. Now, this year, the meals are very different. Normally, we're used to having our meals in a box and we just line up and pick up our food and we go sit down and eat it. This year, you're going to be given like a meal card, which I don't have one right here next to me, but that will be preloaded with an X amount of money, and Caitlin can fill in the amount. I think it's $40 a day.
That's correct.
Yeah, $40 each day. If you want to go to Starbucks the first day and spend $80, great. But you'll just have to then pay for food that you get on your own, because we do have a Starbucks in this building. This is called the Memorial Union Center or the Muck. If you ask anybody where the Muck is, they'll tell you. But you'll have both breakfast and lunch there, and you have a pretty decent selection. There are some things that are grab and go. There are like typical cafeteria. There's a Chick-fil-A down there. There's like a Sammy's and a pizza place. So there aren't as many places open for breakfast down there, but there are plenty. There are more places open for lunch. So then after you eat, then you'll walk back across this quad, and you can either go around this building or around this building. And then these two buildings over here, this one is called Founders and this one is called Alumni. That's where all of our workshops and all of our committee meetings will be held. And it looks like it could be kind of far, but it's probably, I don't know, if at a good pace, 3 or 4 minute walk. And then I don't have it on this map, but I have it on a later map. This building here is Science West, and we actually do have 3 workshops in Science West that are hands-on dissection. So the anatomical dissection stewards committee is running 2 workshops in there, and then there's a third one that's being presented by Christine Eckel. So we might be able, there might be some, we'll have to see how it works out, transportation over there, but for people that are in good shape and don't have any challenges at all, that's really probably a 5 to 6 minute walk. Okay. Then I just wanted to show you sort of what the buildings looked like. There's not a whole picture, but you know, the names are on the outside of the building pretty readily. This one, you kind of have to zoom in to see it. It's Founders Hall. But the other thing I did want to point out is that this is looking at what I would refer to as the back. So if you got off the bus and you went straight over here, this is Founders, and then this little walkway over to the right would be Alumni. The parking lot then would be on the opposite side of that building if you decide to drive, and it's parking lot A. And my understanding is that the way that the parking is handled during summer break is that they don't ticket during summer break, because there's many fewer students on campus. Okay, so this is the other map, and this you can find on the website. This is the interactive map. But what I wanted to show you guys for kind of double checking that you're right, getting off at the right spot. This is that hairpin drive. And then right here we have, quote, the Big E, which is a little controversial because we have a new chancellor and he didn't like the little Big E. And so now we don't have that anymore, but this is a red E, lowercase e, that it's probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 feet tall. It's pretty big. Again, there's that Morris University, what did I call it? Morris University Center, or MUC. Again, Founders, Alumni, and then Science West. The other thing to look out for on campus, sorry, we have a lot of Canada geese, the Canadian goose. So I actually just took this photo this morning as I was walking in, and I thought, you know, I should probably tell people there are Canadian geese everywhere. So these guys were up on these buildings and they were honking away, and you'll see them walking around. But you got to watch out on the sidewalks. You don't want to get caught up in some of the materials that the Canadian geese leave behind. So just be aware of that. It's not hard to avoid it. But I just thought I might point that out as I thought, you know, I wouldn't want to, you know, have that issue if I were at a meeting. And then this will be present at like the registration desk. I'm going to put this in every room, and then there's a second part to this handout that'll be in the rooms. Like if you're doing a presentation or a workshop, then there'll be a phone number on here that you can call if you're having trouble with the AV equipment. But at SIUE, We have 2 Wi-Fi systems. We have Eduroam. So some of you may have Eduroam as your Wi-Fi at your campus, and you should be able to just connect automatically to it. However, if you don't have Eduroam, then there's the Welcome to SIUE, which is the visitors Wi-Fi. You just click, like if you're going to, speaking of Panera, and it says, do you agree? You're at a hotel and you just have to click, yes, I agree to the conditions. There's no password. It's pretty good, honestly. There was a time where my computer wasn't hooking up to the Eduroam for some reason, and I just was using the Welcome to SIUE, and I was able to check my email and, do a lot of stuff. So I don't think you'll have any issues with Wi-Fi. All right, and so then in terms of weather, I love this guy. He's retired now, but he does still do a weather forecast on like one of the radio stations around here. But if you're a Facebook person, you can go on here, and he every year you can see this is his spring forecast. So it really tells you a lot of the things that you might want to expect for the whole month of May, plus some things that are happening in St. Louis in this time period. So you can see like our average, high at this time of year is around 77, but it isn't unusual for it to be in the mid 80s, and it is humid. You wouldn't necessarily think that it would be humid here, but it is. I lived in Texas near Houston. I think I know, and near Savannah, Georgia. I think I know what humidity is, and it gets pretty humid here. But also too, I looked this up on the National Weather Service, and you can see like, we had a record set, but on average here it's around 85. So it kind of just depends. But this I thought was interesting. Do be prepared that there could be rain. Like we've actually had a lot of rain. That I'm in a golf league, and they canceled for tonight because they said we've gotten 9 inches of rain over the last 3 days. So it doesn't typically, by the end of May, June, the rain has kind of slowed down, but just in case, just like anywhere, you should be prepared for rain. But I think May is a really nice time of year to be in St. Louis. So that's the end of my slideshow. I see there are a lot of questions in chat, so I don't know if somebody wants me to just read them, or do you want to read them to me?
Caitlin's been pretty good with keeping up with answering
Okay.
those.
Gotcha.
So
So those aren't just for me.
she got your back there. I
Great.
think Caitlin, you got all of them right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Great.
think so.
Great.
I was gonna add just, hey y'all, I'm Caitlin. I've got my team, Will Johnson and Randy Formby. So we're the HAPS sort of staff behind the scenes at the conference. For those of you that have never come, wanted to kind of give you a lay of the land. Cinnamon talked about SIUE, and she talked about the update seminars. So the first like 3 days of the conference are going to be at the hotel. So the Marriott St. Louis Grand, that's where everything's going to be the first day. So if you're sleeping there, you basically just come downstairs and you're in that space for the first 3 days. The last 2 days of the workshop, we will be providing bus transportation. We've got a lot of buses. We have a schedule that we're going to post in the app, and it's going to be in the conference printed program too. So watch out for that. And if you've got a presentation first thing on Tuesday or Wednesday, get to that first bus, because we want to make sure you get there, you get your breakfast, and you're all settled and ready to go. So and another piece I wanted to mention, often folks ask, what food am I going to be having provided to me? So at the update seminars, Saturday night's the welcome reception. It is a light hors d'oeuvre type reception. So it's not dinner. So if you're planning on having a full meal, it's not going to be that. But we will have light hors d'oeuvres and 2 drink tickets per person. Sunday, that kicks off with a first timers and second timers breakfast. So if you're a first timer or a second timer, go to your respective breakfast, meet with folks and sort of establish your community there, meet with members of leadership. If you're not a first timer or a second timer and you're a forever timer is what I'm going to call you, you get general breakfast. So you'll go to the exhibit hall and have breakfast with the exhibitors and meet with some old friends there. We have breakfast the second day too. Actually, we have breakfast every day for you, essentially. You will not be hungry for breakfast any day you're at HAPS. For lunch at the update seminar, so when you're at the hotel, that is on your own. That's your chance to meet with folks and go out and grab a bite to eat real quick and then get back to the update seminars. The other piece, so for lunch at the updates, at the workshops, you will receive lunch there as well. You will actually receive their lunch there. So you'll have breakfast at the workshops and lunch at the workshops. And those, again, will be on your meal cards, like Cinnamon said. So when you check into registration at the hotel, you'll get a packet, and in that packet is going to be your meal card. Do not lose your meal card. That is your money for lunch and breakfast at the workshop. So I think those are the main things I was going to mention, but if you guys get stuck on site or have a panic, look, there's, myself, Cinnamon, Quinn, Randy, Will, all of these folks are here to help support you and make your experience awesome. So just wanted to kind of give you some behind the scenes insights there.
Any other questions? Oh, I see. Does Amita, do you still have your hand raised, or was that from before?
No, I have it raised. I had a quick concern. Last year, my packet was marked as unpaid, but and so they had a hard time finding the payment and whatnots. But then I noticed when I flipped it over that the receipt was right on the back of that page that they had marked unpaid. So I guess it was just a little glitch where they put the wrong side of the paper up. So I just wanted to make sure that we are good with that, and just remind people, because I've already paid for everything.
Sorry, that was your experience. And team Will and Randy, can we make note of Amita and her registration, and let's see if we can follow up with her and see if she's all good to go.
Sorry about that. Cinnamon, what are your tips for people coming into the downtown area driving?
I would say that it's going to be busy because, as I mentioned, there is the Cards Cubs triple header. That is one thing I was remiss. I know on Friday night, the game is in the evening. So if I were you, I would avoid either right before the game or right after. That will definitely be very busy in that downtown area. So
is there a particular direction that you recommend?
Like coming in
from the north or the west?
I would say coming in from the west will probably be less busy because you won't have to go past the stadium then. And north would also be less busy as well. So there is a bypass all the way around St. Louis called I-270. And if you can pull around 270, and then you can drop down to I-64 on 170. I know you'll all remember this, right?
Well, I've driven by St. Louis probably 200 times, but have not had many occasions to go into the downtown area.
Yeah. So then if you get on that, you can hit 64 and head east, and that will take you to the downtown area before you get to the stadium. But you may want to look up when all of the Cards Cubs games
Okay.
are and
Yep.
avoid that time period.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. So I did see Patrick mention the shuttle from the airport. It's called the why am I just blanking? Metro Link. It's called the Metro Link. Yeah, so if you're flying in, it is super easy. Like the Metro Link train is to get on it is in the airport, and it's a pretty straight shot. They now have a few branches, but it's basically very difficult to get on the wrong train. And there is a station right down at Busch Stadium. And there may even be one. I don't ride the Metrolink a lot, but there may even be one before. Do make sure you buy your tickets inside the airport and get them, like, my brain just went blank again, but like checked or verified, validated. There we go. That's the word, validated, before you get on the train. And there are, the train, I think, has good security. So, I've ridden it a bazillion times from to and from the airport. So that can be a really good option if you don't want to have to worry about a cab or an Uber. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Patrick just said cheap and easy. Yeah. It's, I think it's only $5 maybe, or even less, maybe $2, $2.50. Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a little while, but it's no more than 10 for sure. Are you all excited though? St. Louis really is beautiful this time of year. It's good barbecue, like good music. um, great sports town if you love sports. And I don't remember what stop that is near the Marriott, but I think Melissa might be on it and searching for, maybe not, the hint, hint, the Metro Link schedule, and it will show you. Plus there are maps in every single train card that show you. So the Marriott St. Louis Grand is on Washington. Don't be confused, because there is a Grand Avenue in downtown St. Louis as well. There, look at that. She's amazing. There's the schedule for Metrolink right there. So there's a map in there. It's and like I said, there is a map inside each train. Yeah, that was a good idea. If Patrick, are you from St. Louis?
No, I'm from Atlanta. I've just been to St. Louis a whole ton of times for different workshops.
Okay, so yeah, Carol just had a really great, I can swing out to the airport there one of these days before HAPS, and I can get some pictures of those. That's a great suggestion. I didn't think about that.
It's something that I've always wished was there, just so I know what I'm supposed to be looking for, because the signs are just all visually competing when you're really unfamiliar.
Oh, yes, for sure. So yeah, I will absolutely be able to do that. Anything else? And I'm sorry, I'm horrible teacher. I asked any other questions, and then and then I just start talking. But Caitlin and her group have done like a really good job of then my mind just went blank because I was thinking about the not waiting for questions. Anyway, the app is always amazing. So don't hesitate to ask anything. You can always email me directly if you want. I'm more than happy to answer questions, but use your resources too.
Yeah, and I will say that HAPS has the most active group on the app that I've ever seen. We run a lot of conferences at this office, and yeah, there's a lot of communication. So coordinating dinners or lunches, if you're looking for somebody, you just post it in there. Hey, I want to eat lunch with somebody. People are all on it. So if you're feeling lonely or kind of afraid of talking to somebody, it's all in the app. Just put it in there.
You have a saying, Hapsters never eat alone unless you want to eat alone. So don't ever worry about that.
It's the
And
YAP app, is that right?
the YAP app, and we're still trying to finalize some things, just getting the program to the printer today. So we hope to have the app done by the end of next week at the latest. So just keep an eye out. We'll have an email going out when it is ready to go.
There was a question, is there Wi-Fi at the hotel?
Can't unmute fast enough. Yes, there is. And we'll have that in the app too, in terms of how to access that.
Okay, I know what I was gonna say now. And this will help with Donna's question in the chat. So the first 2 days are all at the hotel in St. Louis. And that's what I was gonna say, is that Caitlin and her crew have done a fabulous job posting about the update speakers. I have seen them mostly on Facebook and in the emails. For the 6 people, well, really 7, because one of the talks is 2 people. But I am so excited about our lineup of update speakers. And I don't know if this really gets advertised sort of dramatically anywhere, but my theme really started to coalesce when I was looking for speakers, because we have a phenomenal scientist here at SIUE. His name's Jake Williams, and he's going to be talking about honeybees. So you're thinking to yourself, like, can we, how can honeybees teach us about humans? But he, teaches in a human anatomy and, excuse me, a human physiology course. And so my theme is we can learn about human anatomy and physiology in many ways. Because, like, for instance, my PhD was in fish physiology, right? So I feel like we can take a lot of those lessons and apply that to human biology. So I'm just super excited about this roundup of speakers. I think they're going to be amazing. And then, of course, there's some other sponsored speakers that will be talking as well. Then on the 3rd day, you will board a bus at the hotel that is organized by Caitlin and her crew. And as I said, in the schedule, there will be a very specific bus schedule that has exactly when a bus is arriving or departing the hotel, however you want to think about it, and then arriving at campus, and then vice versa. And like we said, you're not going to have to stay at the workshop venue at SIUE for the whole time. There are buses continuously bringing people back. And those 2 days, again, and I've tried to keep the workshops, we're on 3 different floors. So, there is going to be some up and down. We do have elevators in those buildings, but, and I have a group of, I think 7 undergraduates, and they're all going to be wearing red t-shirts that have HAPS. I think they wanted to do what's the HAPS, like what's happening. So they wanted to do a little play on that. And then across the back, it says volunteer, and they're all, like I said, SIUE students. And so they're going to be there helping people. So those last 2 days are the workshops, and they're in different rooms, and we have multiple workshops going on simultaneously. So before you get there, you want to make sure you look through the program and decide which sessions that you want to attend, because you can't go to every single session, unfortunately, as much as we would love to do that. But you can kind of map it out. Okay, at 9 a.m., this is the session I want to go to, and this is the room, and then 10 a.m. and so forth. So that's what the conference entails. It's really a unique conference, and it's probably one of the best formats of conferences that I've ever experienced.
And one thing I'll add to that, especially on the first 2 days, you're gonna have a lot of time to go and see our amazing vendors and sponsors. So we have a lot of great individuals that will be there to show off some of their stuff, but also on Caitlin, it is on Saturday. They will have, no. Yeah, it's on Sunday with the drinks with the sponsors. So they will have a session after the last update of that day where everyone can go and hang out with the vendors, get a chance to talk to them a little bit more. And then they will also have a little raffle to give away some of the stuff that they brought and they don't want to transport back. So take some time to go and talk to them so that you have a chance to say hello and thank them for everything they've done for us too.
Ooh, Carol says she's bringing something special for the silent auction. All right. That's great. Yes, Donna, that is correct. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. Bring your institution shirts. And whatever you do, do not look into Tom Lehman's eyes unless you really want to host a conference. Actually, it has, it has been something that I had not experienced before, but I can tell you, working with Caitlin and Will and Randy, honestly, those people are amazing. They really have everything under control. We've had meetings and they've kept me on task. So I actually really do encourage you to think about hosting a conference. It's not like, I don't know if Margaret Weck is on, but back in the day, she had to like find the hotel and she had to find um, the food and contact the caterer herself and all of that. So I really do recommend thinking about hosting a conference. I think it's been a phenomenal experience for me. And I hope you all like this program that we've put together. I don't know about swimming pools. I believe the Marriott might have a pool, but I don't know if you're looking for like more of a athletic type of workout location. So I'm not sure about that. That's a good question. I mean, SIUE, we have a workout facility. You just have to drive over there the first 2 days. And Larry points out we'll have HAPS trivia Saturday night, 5 to 6 before the opening reception. So trivia, t-shirt swap, book swap, and an opening reception all Saturday evening. I mean, what more could you ask for? Can you walk to the arch from the Marriott? Yes. If you do the fun walk, that's about 30 minutes to walk round trip. But I think I think it'll be a nice walk. So I think it's very doable. And then I'll let either Melissa or Caitlin talk about the morning run or the yoga, the fun run.
So that's a fundraising activity. You can pre-register for either of those activities. It would be on Monday morning. So first thing, get up, you either go to the Crystal Ballroom foyer for the yoga session, or you leave from the lobby of the hotel for the fun run. And both of those, I believe, start at 7, but I should know the schedule at this point, but I don't. So look at the schedule and see what time it is, but I think it's at 7. And all abilities and fitness levels are welcome. It doesn't matter. It's not a marathon. You can run at your own pace. Yeah, and it's just kind of a fun way to hang out with some other folks and get the shakes out before you sit down for a fair amount of time during the day.
Any other questions for Cinnamon? No. Well, I know I'm super excited to be there in a few weeks, so I'm very much looking forward to it and seeing everybody again. Those of you, if you're new, if you're not new, make sure you say hello, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody. Otherwise, Cinnamon, I think we're ready to come in and hang out in St. Louis with you.
I'm so excited to see you all.
All right, I'll see you in St. Louis.
Meet me in St. Louis.
There it is.